After school, you're supposed to apply to a college and go to America. Preferably, that's where you get your higher education, and then you know live your life and do whatever you do. So I followed that rule. I applied to several universities, and but you know I read through the school had this stack of all sorts of catalogs from all these universities all over America, and they're all you know a huge, you know, depending on what you wanted to get into. I wanted to go into wildlife studies of some sort. I mean, that was very clear from the start. And I found that the University of Wyoming had a course called Wildlife Management, which sounded pretty interesting. And again, as a clueless as I was, that was a very important decision because not the university, but the choice of what I might become or my interest in what I would be doing as an adult, it was certainly wildlife management. And I've followed that all the way through. The problem was the university was just like school to me. It was just an advanced school, and I was not very good at studies. I'd flunk math, and well, I flunked almost everything, to be honest with you. And I managed to stick a whole year through school, through college, and there was also something going on. My father, by that time, I had very little communication with him. I'd write to him, and he'd write to me every once in a while. And he agreed to put me through college at that time, but he was very keen that he, as a chiropractic doctor, that I would go into medicine, and that I should go into medicine, and he would pay my way through college. When he found that I was going to do wildlife, he wasn't very happy, basically. So after my first year in college, I would have to find a way to pay for my college. And it was quite a bit of money. And I really didn't know much about getting a job. As my first job was as a traveling salesman, for example, which, I wasn't very good at that. We were selling cookware in China and crystal to girls who were building up their hope chest in the hopes of getting married. And, you know, at that age, I was more interested in the girl than in trying to make the sale, which doesn't work. I mean, you have to be, you know, a real salesman and knock on that door and bully your way through and make a sale, and you get a commission. Some people did very well, and they put their way through college just by being a traveling salesman, but I totally failed at that. So I started working, and I got to New York City, and I really liked New York. I liked the vibes there. I really liked the feel of it. And I got a job working for a company called Schrafft's, which was a big, I think a chain of restaurants and stuff like that. But the job I had was serving coffee and tea and donuts and stuff to secretaries in a multi-story building, and pushing this cart into the building, getting up in the service elevator and going from floor to floor, and putting up with the banter and all these mostly female secretaries, which was, you know, fun for a while. But again, to clock in every morning and you know, I said, no, this just isn't for me. So I tried another job at a store called Bloomingdale's, quite a famous department store in New York City. And that was quite interesting. I got to meet, I met a musician, a singer called Johnny Mathis, a colored guy who came to buy a briefcase from me, and I had a nice chat with him. And the girl who was working with me at the briefcase place was a very pretty girl. So I was doing okay for several months. But again, this whole idea of, you know, rushing to work at a certain time, and it just obviously wasn't for me. I had to do something else.